Hello, you're listening to episode 47 of Parodies Preview. I'm Josh Gaffney, and this week I'm joined by Tony Cassidy as we'll get the Celtic's game against Aberdeen. So, Tony, we've just beat Liverpool 1-0 in a friendly, and we got past Elfsborg in the Champions League third qualifying round, beating them 1-0 in aggregate. What's your thoughts on our previous two games?
Obviously, we got the right results, Josh. Delighted with that. Getting through into the next phase of the Champions League. And the victory over Liverpool was a boost for the young kids. Played really well. We didn't really play so well, I don't think. I think everyone acknowledges that against Elfsborg. But the main thing at this stage in the season is getting the victory, getting through, and then see how we get on against, the next game coming up now against Shakhtar Karagandhi. But the Liverpool match, a good victory. Some of the young kids did very, very well. Especially Jackson Irvine, now off on loan to Kilmarnock. And basically, it was good for the fans, a good time out in Dublin. And big Amido Balde got on the score sheet as well, so that's always a wee bonus, and it gives him a boost. Hopefully, he'll go on to good things this season.
Yeah, I guess in the Elfsborg game, it's the result that really matters. And we did keep a clean sheet at the end of the day. And then against Liverpool, a lot of the young kids did really well, especially Jackson Irvine for me, and of course Maya Kolo and Amido Balde had decent games as well. So looking into the Aberdeen game, they've won their first two SPL games. They beat Kilmarnock 2-1 and they beat Motherwell 3-1. Have you managed to see any of Aberdeen this season?
I just managed to catch some of the highlights of the 3-1 victory over Motherwell over at Fir Park there. That's a good result for them. Motherwell were quite a decent team last year. So for Aberdeen, 2 victories out of 2, their fans are right up for it, I was reading some of the message boards and they're going to be going together now. The fans are having streamers and whistles and hats and, I don't know, all sorts of stuff, balloons and all that kind of thing, and a bit of crack regarding Anthony Stokes. They're going to be wearing some Elvis masks as a bit of a wind-up, what happened over the weekend at Dublin, allegedly, whatever, but a bit of crack and a bit of banter from the Aberdeen fans. They'll be right up for it. Whatever it is, it's usually about 18,000, isn't it? So hopefully it'll be a sellout, and it should be a nice match.
Aberdeen, they started off well last season, but they kind of dropped off a little bit. But this season they've started well again, along with Inverness and Partick Thistle. They've signed a few good players, obviously former Celtic players, Will Flood and Barry Robson, along with another 2 players that are in the first team right now, Calvin Zola and Michael Hector. Michael Hector, he's on loan from Reading. As far as I know from Aberdeen fans, Calvin Zola, he isn't looking too good at the moment. He's a sort of big target man, but their centre defender Michael Hector is looking quite good at centre back, and also in the highlights as well. It looks like Will Flood is settling in well.
I saw that, he got the header. I was happy with that, and Niall McGinn got a couple of penalties. I saw that, they've got Joe Shaughnessy at the back there, and what's the chap, the winger guy that used to play for Inverness again?
Johnny Hayes.
Johnny Hayes, aye. Johnny Hayes, he was, making some attack into the Motherwell box, and he, as far as I could see, he just hit the deck quite well. I mean, it was a strong challenge by Stevie McManus, but I just thought, Johnny Hayes hit the deck. But we know him from before, he's a good player. Joe Shaughnessy, as I mentioned, I spotted him down at Barrowfield a couple of seasons back. He was, pretty strong in the defence. And then they've got this guy, is it Clark Robertson? And the thing is, he's 19. He's a left-sided centre back or left back as well. And he played last night in the 6-0 defeat against England down at Bramall Lane for the under-21s. So that's probably a wee bit of a dent to his confidence. You're talking earlier about your man Calvin Zola, 6'3", and I was reading up that he scored a couple of goals in the League 2 playoff semi-final for Burton Albion, the team he was with before. So they lost out eventually, but he can score a few goals and a big strong lad. He only played half the game as far as I know against Motherwell last week, but it'd be a threat for us.
Yeah, he's got a good record on them, but I watched the game against Motherwell and it didn't look very good up front. But still, he managed to get a few chances in front of goal. He just didn't finish them that well. So I don't know. It could be a threat. Maybe it's just sort of like Amida Balde trying to get a kickstart to his career at Aberdeen.
And they've got a new manager.
Yeah, and they've got a new manager, Derek McInnes.
Derek McInnes, that's the one, right?
Derek McInnes. He was formerly the manager of St Johnstone, but he went down somewhere in England.
Bristol City.
So Aberdeen so far this season looks like they're sharp, they're attacking, but they're a little bit more composed at back this season than they have been in previous seasons. But obviously in the 2 games so far they have conceded a goal. But you know, a 3-1 win against Motherwell is quite a good result for them, and I'd say going into this, like they could pose a goal scoring threat.
I mean, in the last 5 games in the Premier League that we played them, we won 4 and we drew 1, 1-1. So I mean, it's all in our favour. Derek McInnes, he's allegedly been manager for 7 games. I'm assuming there's a few friendlies in there, but 2 in the Premier League. And of those 7 games, he's won 4 and drawn 3. So he's not lost a match yet. So it'd be good for us to take that wee scalp, you know, and get the victory.
Well, did beat FC 20 2-0 in pre-season. That was the last one, so that's obviously a quite impressive result as well. Finally, before we move on to Celtic's. The Celtic side are approaching the game. Niall McGinn, he's also looking quite sharp this season. Good passing on him, quite agile, and he's got a decent shot on him as well. Before we move into that, do you ever think we'd see Niall McGinn play for Celtic again?
I don't know. He's a lovely lad. He's got a bit of pace. He was there as a youngster, I suppose, at Celtic for whatever it was, a couple of seasons or whatever. I forget exactly, but I mean, I don't know if he's be good enough, to be honest, for Celtic, but he's banging the goals in for Aberdeen, and you never know. I mean, if he improves, then it might be worth a shout. Certainly, as I say, he's got a bit of pace, and I remember certainly when he headed off up to Aberdeen, he was sad to leave Celtic, the team that he supports, you know, and as we all know him as a lad, Niall, so we just only wish him all the best. He scored those 2 penalties, I say. He's got a match tonight against Russia, a World Cup qualifying for the north of Ireland, so we don't know if we get injured, whatever. There's a shed load of internationals on the go at the moment, as you know, so we'll see what happens with who's coming back and who's fit and who's whatever, you know. Yeah.
Alright, so Celtic going into this game, we've got a little bit of an injury concern in Dirk Richter. He was out for the Elfsborg game, but supposedly it wasn't too bad, so we're not sure if he'll be back for this game. Obviously, Kevin Wilson, he's away as well. So what would be your starting lineup go against Aberdeen?
Starting lineup, probably close to what we had against Elfsborg, you know. Obviously with Kelvin away. So I'll go Fraser Foster in goal, Michael Lustig, and in the centre, Effie Ambrose, Charlie Mulgrew, and left back, Emilio Izaguirre. And it would be 4-3-3, so 3 in midfield would be Scott Brown, moving sort of towards the right side, Joe in the centre, sort of holding, Joe Ledley, and Chris Commons on the left. And then up front, I would attacking 3 would be James on the right, James Forrest, Anthony Stokes in the centre, and Georgios Samaras up and down the left wing.
Mm-hmm. I quite like that idea. We played it quite a few times last season. You know, we sort of like 2 sort of holding midfielders now, like Chris Commons sort of playing in front of them, just behind the 3 attacking players. I'd personally go for that lineup, sort of a 4-3-3, to give us a bit of length, especially since we've not, we've been trying to play Samaras as a striker in the past few games, but that's just not his natural position. He wants to play it wide, so I think it'd be better if we played with a formation that would really suit him a bit better.
Yes, indeed. And as you mentioned, I'd like to see Dirk Bo Richter if he's fit. I'd like to see him coming on at some stage. He was quite exciting against Ross County, as we all know, and hopefully, he gets on the park, and that'll be getting him a wee bit more strong and fit again for the forthcoming European match. Then,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Obviously, if Dirk Bo Richter's fit, then I think so. It would be quite likely to go for 4-4-2. With probably like Chris Commons and Stokes, or Chris Commons and Samaras up front, with Bericht on the left and Forrest on the right. In regards to 4-3-3, the other variation you could have is you could possibly put Kyle in there for either Chris Commons, Scott Brown or Joe Ledley, in case one of them gets injured or so on. So now we've got that out of the way. What's your score prediction?
My score prediction is 2-0 for Celtic.
2-0 for Celtic. I'm going to go a little bit more different for that, and I'm going to go for 3-1 to Celtic. I think that Aberdeen, well, it might be like 1-1 at half time, but I think at the end of the game, we'll just be too much in attack and finish 3-1. Okay, so this has been another Paradise preview with Tony Cassidy. Before we sign off, you got anything to tell us about, Tony?
It's just the Celtic Academy and so on. I've just been writing a couple of blogs for Hail Hail Media every couple of weeks, and I've got the YouTube videos occasionally whenever I get along to the matches. And the videos will usually pretty much always be posted via Twitter at Tony Cassidy 123, and I usually put a wee sign up there for the Mary's Meals charity, so if anybody's keen to put a wee penny towards that on occasion, that's grand as well.
Good stuff, Tony. So this has been another episode of Paradise Preview. Hail, hail, and keep the faith.